The Robrick family, how's every single one of you? This is Juanzo, and we're going to be talking about AEW Dynamite Title Tuesday. Different concept for what we're used to. It wasn't AEW on a Wednesday. This time they actually moved it one day before, and we're going to be talking about everything that happened on this show that went toe to toe with NXT, the Go Home show for Halloween Havoc. AEW unfortunately keeps hitting those rough patches that when it comes to something like it has to happen, there's always like either like an altercation backstage, there has to be wrestlers going at each other, Andrade or Sammy Guevara, the thing that happened at the media scrum, and this situation in the main event for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship match, Jon Moxley and also Adam Hangman Page. Unfortunately, Hangman was injured. There was a lot of worry, a lot of concern in the faces of Taz, of Excalibur, of Tony Giovanni, but we're going to be talking about that towards the main event. Thank you for being with us one more time. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and also leave us a comment. Let us know what you guys feel about the show. WWE is better than AEW. Let's start a conversation. So thank you so very much, family. And this show started out for the AEW World Trios Championship match. This is a rematch for what the match that actually was when the titles were vacated from the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega, the Dead Triangle with Pac, Penta Cero Miedo, Rey Fenix, and going against Orange Cassidy and the Best Friends, Chuck Taylor and Trent Beretta. Pretty good match with what it was. You know, these guys, all six guys, they have a lot of chemistry. Again, they've done this match before, so they know what they need to do. The sequences, the moves, the action, the intensity is the same. I like what Penta and Rey Fenix always bring to the table. Unfortunately, in AEW, they've never been able to blossom to their full potential. And actually, these guys, a few days ago, they were fighting in Triple Mania 34. And, you know, they were fighting for some championships. Penta was in the main event because he put his mask on the line. So, like, you know, he had to be a little careful, I feel, like, you know, not go completely at it because, you know, they were prone to injury. Because if they keep going at it with that match power and intensity, it can get really bad for them. But in the end, the commentary team was talking really high of, like, Pac. They're saying that the strength, the power, and also how good a wrestler he is. But if he's not able to do this on a main event level, then the situation, it will not be as good for him, and that's why he has never been able to accomplish the lengths that, like, we all think that he can get, both in either WWE and now in AEW. In the end of the match, good sequences again for the win, and the then triangle with Pac, again, Penta, Cero Miedo, and Rey Fenix retain the titles, which is the right thing to do because, again, last week Orange Cassidy just beat Pac for the All Atlantic Championship. So I feel that, like, this time it was their moment, especially because if they want these guys to have at least a title, they want something to fight for these guys. So this is good. And again, from the Best Friends and Orange Cassidy, he's always been the main event. He's going to be the main act. So unfortunately for Beretta and also for Chuck Taylor, they just need to wait. Maybe like for the tag team championships, they can have a moment. They can be champions at some point. We'll see what happens. But that was the beginning of AEW. And now let's go for the AEW Women's Championship match. Toni Storm against Hikaru Shida. This was probably the best match of the night for me. But unfortunately, no reaction from the people, from like the fans of Cincinnati. Just because I don't know, like they were not into the, you know, baby face against baby face. I don't know if there were problems with that. But again, the interim women's champion on Toni Storm with Hikaru Shida. The only thing here is that Toni Storm said that like she wants to fight Thunder Rosa. That's the main match. I think that that's going to happen in Full Gear. Only depending if Thunder Rosa is healthy and ready to go. But like that's the match that like we all want to see. Here, Hikaru Shida was a great AEW champion. She's a great wrestler. She has a lot of like good rivalries with like Britt Baker, the rivalry with Serena Deeb. So of course they were gonna give us a good match. You see right there, like saying hi, like a show of respect. And in the end, you know, we got to see, of course, the brawls in AEW. That's always what happens, interactions. There's always some altercations, you know, there's always somebody that's going to come interference. And we got to see also like Britt Baker. We got to see Jamie Hayter. We got to see Rebel coming out. And after the match, when Toni Storm had won because she retained. And then we got to see Saraya or Paige. She comes out and then she goes physical with Paige, which is very important because, again, I think they're going to tease it until like a few weeks before Full Gear. And then they're going to say that like Paige is ready to wrestle and she's going to go at Britt Baker. That's going to be probably even a most important match than the championship match, just because we haven't seen Saraya or Paige fighting since her return, and that was like 2018. That's when actually she tried to come back, and unfortunately a kick from Sasha Banks put her like an injury one more time, and she's been, you know, she's been not fighting ever since. So here, like, this is the one moment that like Sarai started attacking Britt Baker. Unfortunately, also here, like the cameraman like got confused or something. So like we didn't know where she went with Britt Baker. They went also like they got lost in the crowd. but in the end we got to see the return of Riho, which is something that for a lot of people, I guess they're going to be excited. A lot of people, they're going to feel, she's back, it's great. But again, the way that she's dressed, the way that like she comes out smiling and everything, it should be like intensity. It's like, oh, Toni Storm is my friend, like they're attacking her, I'm just gonna go and start beating ass, start like kicking ass, getting rid of all these girls. But no, that's the one thing. For Riho is not a credible wrestler. I don't know how she can actually become a credible wrestler, but she's not at the level that Io Shirai, Kairi Sane, Asuka, all these girls from Japan that like have been able to do the transition to the United States, been able to be successful also at it. But unfortunately, Riho, being the original AEW Women's Champion, she's not. But in the end, Toni Storm gets the win. So that was like the second match that we have, family. And now we're going to see an MJF segment, a pretty good one. It had a long story, and William Regal was going to be involved in this. They added this at the last minute, and MJF just told us like how he, at the beginning, when he was 19 years old, he was actually trying to become a wrestler with the tryouts, and William Regal saw him, and he was able to stay after a long tryout. And he said that like he was going to try to hire him, but when he found out that like he was actually 19, William Regal said, hey, get better, improve your ability in promos, but you have the talent, you have it in you, you just gotta like improve it, develop it, polish it. And whenever you keep sending me tapes, keep sending me matches, keep sending me promos, and I'll make sure that I keep giving you guidance, I'll keep managing you, I'll keep giving you everything that it takes to make you like the next best thing, to make you with the wrestler that you want to be. So like MJF keeps telling this story with a lot of passion, a lot of love, a lot of like feelings, a lot of soul into it, because he was screaming, yelling, saying that William Regal at some point said, I don't have time because I'm going to be hired at the WWE. They name dropped the WWE. He said, I don't have time for this, but again, keep growing, and if you don't, just quit wrestling. So he said that like at some point in that moment, his dreams were shattered, and he thought about taking his own life. So like a very personal, real life situation, really good. But William Regal said the same thing, countering attacking. He said, when I was 16, I was actually in carnivals trying to like make a name of himself, fighting men, not just kids. So he's like, well, you got it easy, boy. He's like, sunshine, you got it easy. Like, no, don't try to come at me saying that like you're better and anything, but like you got it easy. But then he's like, you gotta be the baddest guy, you gotta be the villain, you gotta like get people out, you gotta get real heat, you gotta be the devil. So like he says, hey, do it, beat me and everything. So here like MJF could have done that, but he chooses not to because he wants to like earn everything, actually come on in like a baby face way. So like we get to see a little bit of shit, or like a little bit of signs, a little bit of signals that MJF becoming a baby face. We'll see, but like he did not attack William Regal when he had the opportunity. So that was another segment of the show. So now we're gonna go with Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson, that he had a segment with Renee Paquette, and he was interviewed about the match with like Jericho, and especially like how his feelings about Daniel Garcia, about everything that happened in the Ring of Honor title match. And then we got to see like how Bryan says that he thought that like Garcia was actually going to be extension of him. He was going to be better than him because the talent, he has the intensity, he has even like better like signs that like he could be better than him. But then Wheeler Yuta gets really mad because he says, you know what, like we all saw that he was going to turn on you. Claudio saw it, William saw it, John saw it, but you're the only one that not see it. So why can't you just open your eyes and see that like the guy doesn't like you, the guy is only like betraying you. So like, come on. So you see a little fractions, you see a little tension between these two guys. We'll see what happens. But Bryan Danielson a little lost here. I mean, I would like him like to like I would have liked that he would have won the Ring of Honor championship, just because like he's a guy that like carried that championship, he had that championship. But here we see that like there's gonna be maybe a rivalry between these guys. We'll see about Wheeler Yuta maybe turning against then Bryan Danielson. We'll see what happens. Pretty interesting, but again, this group, like the Blackpool Society and all of that, I'm not really getting into it because, like I mentioned before with Paul in the shows, like these guys can be on their own, especially like Bryan Danielson, Claudio, and also like Yuta. Well, let them be on their own and let them try to make a name of themselves rather than put him in a group, because Moxley, for example, he's the champion. He doesn't need all these guys. So let's go to the next match, and this is for the Ring of Honor World Championship, and we got to see Chris Jericho going against Dalton Castle. Pretty good match here. Dalton Castle is pretty similar to what Adam Rose would at the time. He has a lot of like buds that like dance, all of that. Also like No Way Jose. But here, Jericho is not gonna lose this championship anytime soon. He also signed like already for like 4 more years. He's gonna have on different duties on AEW. He's gonna be the advisor. He's gonna try to like polish some talent. So he's gonna be trying to be more backstage role. But for now, he just wants to be the champion. He wants to humiliate everybody in the Ring of Honor. But it's a good storyline. But unfortunately, again, is something that is not what that much appealing, because Jericho, I feel that like he needs to just take some time off and then just come back refreshed, because again he's like Ruble, so it's not credible enough. He didn't even need the help of like Daniel Garcia or anybody else. It's just Judas effect, 1, 2, 3, and he retains. Dalton was a previous former Ring of Honor champion. We'll see what happens with this storyline, but like again, the main thing is Jericho is trying to pulverize, just destroy everybody or anybody that is aligned with a Ring of Honor. He tries to do something with Ian Riccoboni. He's like the announcer that they have when they have a Ring of Honor matches. But then Jerry Lynn came out, and Jerry Lynn's like, what the hell are you doing? Like, leave him alone. It has nothing to do with you. Come on. And then he's not doing a tombstone on top of the championship, and of course Excalibur, Taz selling the situation, saying that Jericho like shouldn't be doing that. Like Jerry Lynn has like a repair neck, so that's why the situation like prosper. But we'll have to see more heel heat for Jericho. Interesting. Like the match was not that great, but we knew Judas effect, 1, 2, 3, and done. This is what we're going to see on next Dynamite. It's going to be again on a Wednesday. We're going to see FTR going against Swerve Our Glory for the #1 contender of the AEW Tag Team Championships that are held by the Acclaim. They're actually going to be fighting on Rampage, but this is going to be a good match. You know, FTR holding like the New Japan Championships, Ring of Honor Championships, really important guys. And also like we're going to see like Keith Lee and also Strickland, or like Isaiah Swerve Scott, or the WWE fans that always watch. This is going to be a good match, and I feel that FTR needs to win that match and finally crown themselves as the AEW World Champions. This would be great for them, hold all that goal, because they had a really good year and they've shown that they don't need AEW. They can go to any other company and be champions. So this is what we're going to see also, like I said, next Wednesday. Also, Bryan Danielson going against Sammy Guevara. This is going to be a great match. You know, both guys can go a lot of like same physique, and they can actually go with like a lot of synchrony, a lot of intensity. Here, I feel that Wheeler Yuta is going to play a factor because of what we saw in the promo before. So here, maybe Sammy Guevara get the win. You know, he has the support of like Tay Conti, his wife. It's going to be a good match again. But Danielson, what I think like he's trying to do, not by winning all the time, but he's just trying to help guys. He's just trying to support them for them to just keep becoming higher in the ranks and also in the main event picture. So this is going to be a good match. Now let's talk about the main event. AEW World Championship match, Jon Moxley against Adam Hangman Page. This was like a very sloppy at the beginning. Not everybody was thinking that it was going to be like the greatest match on the world, but we thought it was going to be at least decent enough. But unfortunately, like I said, the injury takes place and the match had to be stopped. And this is the moment, family, that like the injury happens. As you guys can see in the picture, Adam Hangman Page was trying to do a fallaway slam, something that is normal, that is a part of his arsenal. He was trying to do that from the top rope. As he does the move, when he falls, I think Moxley lands on top of him and ends up injuring him, because after that, like the match had to be stopped. Like, you know, they had, it was 9:50, so they had 10 minutes to like just of TV time. And like you guys can see, like you see the Dr. Samson, that's a former WWE doctor. He's the one that is checking on Hangman Page, and the prognosis, or like it was not good. Like whatever the result was, like you guys could see a lot of worry, a lot of tension, like a lot of moments like, well, what do we do? The camera didn't focus on Adam Hangman Page, on how he was taken out of the ring. They focused on Excalibur or Taz, and you guys can see a lot of, again, you know, concern. They were talking, oh geez, like they were actually really concerned about the situation. So they gave Moxley the microphone. Also William Regal came out, and see us right there, he's whispering, hey, maybe we have 10 more minutes, come out with something. MJF is gonna come out, so let's do it. So the first thing that Moxley said is like, hey, I hope that Adam Hangman Page recovers. I hope that like he can come back 100%. He can like hug his like little girl, and when he's ready, he can come and challenge me one more time. But remember, he says, it's a pretty dangerous sport, so this is nothing new. So whenever like if somebody enters in this ring, you know that like you're putting your life in danger, which is the truth. But Moxley bloody like normal, but in the end the match got to be stopped. Moxley retains. So we also like saw MJF coming out. He was like going to cash in like the opportunity that he had for the AEW championship match, but he actually stops and he says, no, I'm not gonna do this way. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna take shortcuts. That is something that William Regal had mentioned, and he says, no, I'm gonna challenge you at full gear because I want you 100%, and over there, and only that moment, I'm gonna become the AEW champion. And you know, like a solid intensity of MJF, he says that like this is his time. but he's going to do it the right way, to surprise everybody. So we see, again, I'm pretty determined MJF, but more like a babyface, because heels don't act this way. But this match is official. It's going to be for the AEW Championship at Full Gear. Jon Moxley defending against MJF. This is really cool, and that's how the show went off the air. And don't forget, family, we're going to be talking about the Halloween Havoc on Saturday, so be with us. This is going to be like the main event. Ilya Dragunov and NXT UK, a God of our zone, because we used to cover NXT UK. We're going to be going against Braun Breaker and also JD McDonough, or for the guys that used to watch NXT UK with us, Jordan Devlin. This is going to be a great match, and also a great pay-per-view. Mandy Rose against Alba Fire or Kaylee Ray. Also, Shinsuke Nakamura came back in this show on NXT. Also, Kevin Owens got him in the event. And the main thing is that Austin Theory might cash in the Money in the Bank ad, for the NXT Championship. So this is, again, another good twist for the WWE, but we're going to be talking about that on Saturday after the show is over. Let's focus now, just to conclude, on MJF challenging Jon Moxley. Again, we hope that Adam Hangman Page is okay. Hope that he can come back 100%. But again, this type of situations keep happening on AEW. Not as much in WWE. Maybe they know how to prepare the guys better. Maybe they're not as as risky, or they don't try to do things that they shouldn't do. But we'll see. But let's hope again one more time that Adam Hangman Page is actually well. We'll have more information on Friday with Paul and myself when we do actually our weekly show in wrestling. But this is Juan, so thank you so very much, family, for the attention. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and like I said, everywhere in the social media world, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, just follow us. And I say bye without you saying Adam.